Hello.
And welcome to
Let the Girls Play. I'm Kelsey Bailey.
I'm Amelia Bain.
And we're here to talk about the WNBA playoffs round one. We've made it to playoffs, baby. And ooh, what a round one it was.
It was a sweep of sweeps.
They Mary Poppins out here. Yeah.
They Mary Poppins. Chim-ee.
He's going to outlive all of us. Dick Van Dyke.
Shout out Dick Van Dyke. Hopefully he does not pass between recording and releasing this episode.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you never
Rest
know.
in peace, Maggie Smith.
Crazy.
Dame Maggie Smith.
Pour one out for Maggie Smith. Pour one out for Kurt Miller. Pour one out for Teresa Weatherspoon. We'll get to that. But my God, y'all, playoffs were, what we expected. This top-seeded teams swept in all categories, and we will talk about it. But it's the stuff that's happening with the rest of the damn league that has got my ass thrown in a circle.
Throw that ass in a circle, Kelsey.
It is a circle for Kurt Miller. I will.
Except for my ass in this situation is my brain. My brain is in a circle. I don't know what
spiral.
I cannot understand the logic of. We'll get to it, but some of these decisions that these franchises are making, some of the fans.
Let's talk about some things that were predicted, which was a Liberty sweep of the dream. 2 games in and out. Let's freaking talk about it. Mima, you were there on boots on the ground for both games.
I saw game 1, which looked a lot like what we expected it to look like. It was pretty clearly a Liberty game through and through. They were looking good. Game 2, out of the gate, the Dream came out swinging. They played as well as they could have, really. Alicia Gray was doing what she does, which is draining threes, making us look silly. In game 2, the Liberty weren't playing that bad at the beginning of the game. It's just they weren't playing as well as they could, and the Dream were absolutely popping off. And I think what happened in the second half was things kind of clicked into place for the Liberty. Sab went off. She high-fived Spike Lee. As she said, she got New York injected into her veins like Spider-Man.
I think from game 1, which was a bit of a cakewalk, they thought that maybe game 2 would be as well. And Atlanta said, no.
Atlanta did not go down without a fight. Yeah,
no, absolutely. Let's talk about game 1 because there were some big things that happened. Number 1, Leonie Febish got the start over Slooty Sloot, which, obviously, I think this is the right decision. Nothing but respect for my floor general for Sloot. But we can all, and she also would probably say, it hasn't been the best, easiest year of basketball for her. So much happening in her personal life, and then also just within her game. She's not at her, playoff ready, I would say. Coming off the bench, she still was able to set the record, surpassing Sue Bird, who was in attendance for most assists in WNBA playoffs history. So Sloot, you're the freaking one of the best point guards from the league of all time.
The nicest WNBA player we've ever met.
Our best friend.
Our best friend. Sloot plays an important role on this team. I just think at this moment, it's not a role as a starter. And that's okay. We need everybody. We need our bench players coming off ready to go too.
For sure. And I think if this continues into next season and we see her being more of a role player coming off the bench, then that means she can win 6th player of the year,
Hell yeah.
Let's get her an award if she's going to be coming off the bench next season. But shout out to Sloot getting that record. Shout out to Febish. 21 points in that first game against the Dream. Career high.
Leading scorer for the Liberty.
Loved it so much. Mima got a jersey.
I did. I bought it. I almost bought it before that game. And then when I didn't, I was like, that was stupid. So I bought it before game 2.
And she was fine in game 2.
she was fine
in game 2.
When it mattered, she was very good in the second half.
She had a huge 3 that completely changed the momentum for the Liberty, allowed them to get back into the lead, to get Sab activated. It was Febish and Spike Lee together activated Sab to go into absolute sicko mode where she's in that second game where she tied the franchise record for most points in a postseason game with 36 points. But like we said, Alicia Gray was popping off. Ryan Howard had an insane block on Stewie that she was celebrating for days
Even
after.
the Liberty fans were like, oh!
I love Ryan Howard.
The Atlanta Dream. I love them. I'm just so happy with how they played this year.
Absolutely. But I do need to fucking pop off for 1 second because there was a cute little moment between Ryan and Benijah Laney Hamilton where they were just maybe just sharing a little joke, and fucking Twitter made it seem like they were flirting with each other. First of all, Benijah Laney is a straight married woman. And second of all, just let these players interact with each other without you sexualizing or like assuming things. Like, fuck off.
Can't you just have like a nice moment without people being like, oh, they're flirting?
Yeah. Do you think people think that we're flirting on this podcast because we're two women?
Probably. Yeah. And sometimes we are. Sometimes players are dating. Sometimes they're married. And sometimes they're just having a nice moment with another gal on the court. Mm-hmm. Can I talk about someone who was flirting on Celebrity Row?
Absolutely.
Someone was flirting with Ellie the Elephant, dancing with her on Celebrity Row. I have never been more starstruck by someone on Celebrity Row. Listen, Pharrell was there. Spike Lee was there. I was
huge
like, this
for
is
Spike
exciting.
Lee to be there, first of all.
Yes. I was excited about both of them. And then they cut to Whoopi Goldberg. I had chills. Like, my heart was like racing. I knew that I loved Whoopi, but something about seeing her in person, I was like really affected. And I think the whole crowd was. Everyone went crazy. I think we would have to have like, I don't even know who could get the crowd that pumped. I don't know.
She crosses all interests. She intersects everything. She's an EGOT winner. So if you're a fan of comedy, she's got an award for that. If you're a fan of film, she's got an award for that. If you're a fan of live theater, she's got an award for that. She is everything.
Oh, yeah. And I didn't even mention Ja Rule performed at halftime. He was awesome.
Where would I be without my baby?
He was so fun. He was like wearing a Liberty jersey with a jacket over it. He sang, I'm from New York.
Oh, that's fun. You sound like, who's that guy that's like, short people? Or like Randy Newman. You sound like Randy Newman.
Ja Rule was there sounding like Randy Newman. But he was fun, and I think he had a good time. It was just like a great vibe at Barclays. So I'm excited to see the next round. And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it more. Let's keep talking about the games that have already happened. I have a lot of thoughts about the upcoming matchup for the Liberty.
So as we know, round one is over. Liberty swept it in 2. That means they move on to the semifinals where they will be facing off against their finals rival from last season, the Las Vegas Aces. But first, let's talk about the number 2 seed, the Minnesota Lynx, who took on the Phoenix, if this is it, Mercury, number 7 seed. Again, it was a clean sweep in 2 games, but not without a fight.
Oh, yeah. Especially that game 1. In the first quarter and second quarter, it was kind of like, the Lynx are about to absolutely demolish the Mercury. So I was only half paying attention to the game. I came back in towards the end of the game, looked at my TV and said, excuse me? Because the Mercury came back, tied it up, at one point had a little lead, and it was an incredible end of a game. Natasha Cloud, as we know on this podcast, we love her so much. She shows up in the playoffs. Last year, round 1 of the playoffs was when we absolutely fell in love with her, when she played in Washington, when she dogged Sab. Yeah. Incredible performance. But I think we need to mostly talk about MVP, who averaged 40 points in these 2 games.
It's so crazy.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, if we're giving, like, I'm making the prediction already, and finals MVP is going to be Fee if the Lynx win. Absolutely. I mean, how could it not be? You know?
She's playing just at a level that I thought only Asia Wilson could play.
Yeah, she's playing out of her damn mind. In game 2 against the Mercury, she tied the record for most points in a playoff game in WNBA history at 42 points. She's just absolutely popping off. And I think, that game 1, it was so close that game 2, I was like, well, the Mercury are going to win game 2. If they almost won game 1 and game 2 is an opportunity for them to win and bring the final game back to Phoenix, they're going to absolutely
playing in front
win.
of the X Factor. Yeah.
Yeah. And while they did not win, they absolutely made it the most fish and chippy game that they could. Of course, Diana Taurasi had to foul out. If this is it, if it's her last game, she's going to foul out.
She did it her way, which is fouling out.
She absolutely did it her way. There was a fish and chippy with Maga Barbie and Courtney Williams.
the fish and chippy kind of started at the press conference after game one where Fee, like, I think accidentally trash talked. Like, I think she was like being like kind of like lighthearted and was like, hopefully we can end her career on Wednesday about Diana.
Yeah.
But then people were like, oh, she said that.
I know.
Like,
And
she's just being silly.
Yeah. Fee even went on Twitter afterwards and was like, y'all don't make this a moment. This was just like me just like having some fun. There is no beef. I love Diana Taurasi, but
They're both
I want to win.
players. Yeah. Like there's no beef between them. I think it was,
As we
I think
said,
a really funny moment.
Fee is just like almost one of the ultimate nice girls, which is why it was so shocking when she got in that fish and chippy with Nneka Ogwumike like a couple months ago. So please, Fee is never the villain. She's just a damn good basketball player. And these were two damn fun games to watch her absolutely pop off in. And shout out to Phoenix. We love the dog pound. They came in, they were being those dogs that we knew they could be in this playoff round. And I love the Phoenix Mercury.
Me too. And whatever version of the dog pound comes back next year, whether that includes Diana, whether it includes Brittany Griner, who I think also is maybe toying with ending her career, whatever it looks like next year, I am so grateful that we got this dog pound this year. And they've still got so much talent returning next year. We got a lot of good years ahead of us in Phoenix.
Absolutely. Shout out Phoenix. And I say it every podcast until she makes an announcement. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. Come on, DT.
I think
do it for me, baby.
The ESPN broadcast, they were chanting 1 more year. The big three were chanting 1 more year. But we say 4 more years. And shout out Carolyn Peck, speaking of the broadcast, for doing an impression of Christy Sides doing a pep talk for the team and putting her glasses on her head like that. Shout out.
Well, let's talk about Christy Sides in this Sun versus Fever. Sun, number 3 seed against Fever, number 6. Jesus Christ. I'm so happy the Fever have been eliminated. Goodbye.
I am so excited to see this team next season. I'm excited to see Caitlin Clark continue to grow, Kelsey Mitchell continue to grow, Aaliyah Boston, all of them. I'm excited. Having said that, the discourse around this team this year was so exhausting. And I know that maybe there's an argument to be made that like, that's what put so many eyes on the league. And to that I say, some of the eyes I don't want on the league. Some of the people who have been brought into this fandom are kind of racist and kind of suck. And some of them are really racist and really suck. And I think some of them have just slithered their way into this fandom, and it's got to stop. Like these players are being harassed. They're being called like horrific names.
Yes. Caitlin Clark has become such a talking point in conservative media, in Fox News, in sports coverage of the WNBA. It's always around her, and it's absolutely ruining the experience of a WNBA game for teams that have to play against her. For original Fever fans, before Caitlin even got there, to see this like beautiful community that provided an opportunity to be oneself and to feel protected, just ruining that. And I feel for the original Fever fans who have been there before the 2024 season. It's just awful. And I feel so horribly for these players who have to endure this level of hatred and disgustingness. And like that fucking woman who dressed up in the sun. Did you see that? There was a woman who like dressed
with
up
the like fake nails. Yeah.
I hope that she has hemorrhoids for the rest of her damn life and can never comfortably take a shit.
I agree.
Well, don't cut this, Amelia.
I'm not gonna cut it. No, it's like if you are a Caitlin Clark fan, if you are a Fever fan, that's awesome. She's an amazing player. She had an incredible rookie year, but just like ask yourself, am I doing anything, even small things, to contribute to the way that some of these players are feeling? And also, if you're at a game and you see somebody sitting near you doing something shitty, saying something racist, say something to them.
Tell them to shut the fuck up. It's like when I got in a fight with somebody at Pride, and by fight, I mean I got in an argument and then had to walk away. At Pride, trying to talk to me, a straight white man trying to tell me that the girls are being mean to Caitlin Clark. And I literally was like, had to get in a conversation at Pride.
Kelsey should have been kissing everybody in the bar, but instead she was using her lips to talk some sense into this man.
All right, let's talk about this fucking series. the Fever and the Sun. Game 1, Sun win. Prayers up for Ty Harris. We love you, Ty Harris, and hope that you can heal quickly and be okay. But this game, both games, we have to clap it up for our girl, Miss Messy Bun, Scrappy Doo herself, Marina Mabrey. The best fucking trade of the season was Marina Mabrey to the Sun. My God, how did
they got away with one there. I am telling you,
worth everything.
She fits in with their toughness. She has been, like I said, a couple episodes, I think, embraced by this team. Her friendship, at least good working relationship, friendly working relationship with Dejanay Carrington is one of my favorite things that I've witnessed in a long time. And yeah. Oh, and by the way, I meant not just Dejanay Carrington, but most improved player Dejanay Carrington. Put some respect on her name.
We'll
always.
Talk about it. We'll talk about it.
But yeah, Marina Mabrey, an absolute dog, came off the bench in game 1, 27 points, set a record for most points off the bench in playoff history, and just like does it with just the stinker energy that is so entertaining. I love her.
She is a fun competitor. She is an amazing 3-point shooter. She's just like getting those daggers when you need them. And especially in game 2, she won them that game. It was
absolutely
going back and forth of this 1-point difference between the two teams until Marina hit that 3 that really just like secured the win.
Yeah. And also in game 1 and game 2, I want to shout out someone that I think like we're just so used to seeing triple doubles from that, like we're just desensitized, but AT is doing incredible work on the court every night.
Absolutely.
I love her.
Shout out Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 717.
Kelsey's hometown. Yeah.
My hometown, Alyssa Thomas's hometown. Popped off in game 2 to really be like, you know what, we are going to win this game. Everybody popped off in game 2. And Caitlin Clark popped off too, seemingly almost about to get an efficient chip with Chippy with kind of everybody on the Sun. Her
and from the jump with DB,
like within like the first
quarter.
2 minutes.
Yeah. She was kind of slapping it at DB.
Don't disrespect DB.
Don't disrespect one of the top 10 leading scorers of all time.
The best actress in the league, DB. Don't disrespect her.
Half of the best couple in the league. Don't disrespect her.
Come on. Yeah, Scrappy Doo, fucking, we salute you. I would honestly, out of this series, Scrappy Doo MVP of that series. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? Fever, see you next season.
Let's talk about this 4-5 seed matchup, which we knew would be a good series.
Hate to see a super team fail, but the Storm certainly did not have it in this series. I mean, we could talk about Jewel Lloyd just not being at 100.
Something wasn't clicking, and maybe that injury that she was coming back from was not quite healed all the way. The Storm did come out game 1 fighting, and they, for a lot of that game, I thought they're going to win this game.
Until the 4th quarter, where they scored only 2 points.
2 points. They had 10 minutes. 10 minutes to get the ball through the hoop. And they only did it one time.
They only did it one time, and it was on free throws.
So they did it 2 times, but yeah.
Shout out to Skylar Diggins-Smith, the only 2 points I think that they scored that whole thing. But the Aces, they are full steam ahead. Do not get in their way.
So good.
I fear for the New York Liberty in this matchup, if I'm being completely honest. The Liberty have a hard road ahead of them.
This is the time. It's my new annual tradition in the fall of having to convince myself to root against the Aces and having to convince myself that the Liberty are going to beat the Aces. Otherwise, love fall in New York, but this part of fall in New York.
Nothing better than fall in New York. Tip Hayes popping off in game 1 against the Storm. Tip Hayes, 6th player of the year, is absolutely going to
For sure,
Hayes. They have not announced it yet as of time of recording.
Shout out to her mom, who was her first flight ever to come see this playoff game. And of course, Tip Hayes had to pop off for her mom. We all pop off for our moms,
we
right?
all pop off for our moms. If my mom was taking her first flight, I would not want to be shit in the bed.
Oh my God, if my mom was sitting right here off screen watching me do my thing, podcast, I'd be risen,
Risen and
dripping
razzing,
with
baby.
Riz.
You'd be Rizzo. But yeah, so game 2, again, Aces came out on top, even though, and I had to write it in the notes, and I texted it to Amelia. Gabby Williams put her whole best goosey into that game. Like,
She was so good.
she was good.
She did the thing.
I hope she comes back next season.
Me too.
But also, like, if she'd rather be in EuroLeague making better money and playing with her friends, I also get that.
I understand that too. But also, NECA, of course, got shut down in that fourth quarter. But prior to that, in game 1 was so good.
I know. It just wasn't in the cards. I think next season, watch out for the damn Storm. I think, like, they were gelling this season, and next season they're going to take it to another level. So all I have to say is congrats on a great season to Seattle. To come from where you were last season to being in the playoffs, having these great trades, these great players on your team, shout out to the Storm. That's all I have to say.
Shout out to the Storm, for sure.
Buckle the fuck up, because we have Las Vegas versus New York in the semifinals, and the Lynx versus the Sun. That's going to be a crazy series too. Everybody is going to be popping off.
Yeah. Kelsey, do you want to make some official predictions for the round 2?
For
Kelsey,
round 2,
Liberty, Aces. Who you got?
I'm going to say, for Teaspoon, it's going to be the Liberty. For Teaspoon, I will say it is the Liberty. She has had an awful week. We need to give her the Liberty advancing to the finals. So I'm going with New York Liberty in 4.
All right. I'm going Aces in 5.
Oh!
And I'll tell you why.
Because we said somebody has to say the Aces.
No, I meant it, because I received an omen this week. I previously on Let the Girls Play, I said I will be fine as long as I have my Ellie the Elephant bobblehead. Well, I have an Aces fan living in my household because my 2-year-old ripped the head and feet off of my Ellie the Elephant bobblehead and painted yellow, like, piss paint on her shorts. And I just think this is a bad omen for my New York Liberty. And I want it to be the Liberty, and I pray that it's the Liberty, but I know in my bones, and I know in this broken elephant's bones,
your daughter's gonna be best Indiana Fever fan impression with that one.
She sure is, but like my daughter knows, I know it too. There's no stopping Asia Wilson. There's no stopping the point guard. There's no stopping postseason all-star Sid Colson.
Honestly,
we're in trouble.
It's going to be crazy. And this is me being an optimist. And, you know, I just have to take a deep breath with this one, because it gives me, I'm not going to game 4 in Las Vegas because I have to drive home.
Oh yeah, Kelsey.
I cannot.
If you're new to the podcast, after an upsetting Commissioner's Cup performance, Kelsey sideswiped a car, and so to protect herself and others, she must make plans to not be behind the wheel.
To not be behind the wheel at all. So I am only going to game 3 on that Friday, and then I am driving back Saturday. And I will, if there is a game 4, I will watch it from the safe confines of a bar or my home.
And she's gonna hide her keys.
Distance. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Other prediction: the Minnesota Lynx and the Sun. Mima, who you got?
I have got the Minnesota Lynx, who not only do I think they're going to win this matchup, but I am so scared they're going to win this whole dang thing.
I think they are.
Who's stopping Fee?
I think they are.
We can't think about it. But anyway, I really think it's the Lynx. I think, like, because I think these teams are both going to perform at the highest level. And I think you've got Scrappy Doo, you've got Alyssa Thomas, Dewana Bonner, all these great players. But I just think if both teams play at their best, this year's Lynx team is just like a tiny bit better. And
absolutely. They're all playing. It's just good basketball. Like, it's all anyone can talk about. It's just like, it's just a good team playing good basketball, and Fee playing God level basketball.
And your wife coaching them up on the sideline with a blazer and a graphic tee. There were too many words. Does anyone know what Cheryl Reeves' shirt said in the game 2? Because there were it was a whole paragraph. We don't know.
My queen, my Zazzle queen, she's always getting those graphic tees. What will they say in the semifinals and what will they say in the finals? I do not know, but I hope one of them says let the girls play.
Me too.
Should we send her, how do we get my wife a t-shirt?
If you know how to reach Cheryl Reeve, not in a creepy way, we would just want to give her a t-shirt. We know she likes t-shirts. We'd like to give her a t-shirt from our show, Let the Girls Play.
And I won't even flirt with her. Because I know she's a married woman and I respect that. But she is in the alternate unit, in the AU that I have, she is my wife. And I'm a coach's wife.
Yeah. You're the Tammy Taylor of the Lynx.
Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I wish. Anyway, so I also have the Lynx. It's going to be the Lynx. It's probably going to be the Lynx winning the finals as well. But meanwhile, let's talk about just some stuff that's happening around the league.
I think we need to talk about the thing that I'm most hot about, and that is Teaspoon has been fired as the head coach of the Chicago Sky.
We got some real shakeups happening here. After one season, less than 365 days employed by this team, Teaspoon has been let go, which is sad.
And it's also, I think, stupid.
So stupid.
If I think about this emotionally, obviously I love Teaspoon. I'm such a fan of her as a person, as a coach, as a Liberty legend, Ring of Honor member, of course. But then if I try to, it's impossible to do this, but if I try to be unemotional about it and I just think strategically, I think this is also a bad decision because she's building something in Chicago. What are they doing?
Someone said they've had 4 coaches in the past 3 years. That's crazy.
Dysfunctional,
and I don't.
Ka had to get out. No wonder Ka had to get out. And Candace Parker got out. Everybody's leaving. Gabby Mabry asked to leave, allegedly.
Chicago, it's time for y'all to look into your deep dish pizza and see the reflection back. Y'all are your own villains, and it's coming from within the organization. It's not the coach that's on the sidelines as much as you want to blame the coach. No. Something is not right in that organization, and, Dwayne Wayne, figure it out.
Figure it out. Yeah, what the hell is going on over there?
He's an investor, part owner, whatever he is. Get it to fucking together.
Get your house in order. Get your house in order, Dwayne Wade. Speaking of firings, Kurt Miller, Short King Kurt Miller, also asked to leave.
Talk about another
mutually
franchise.
Parting ways with Los Angeles.
They cannot find a coach either. And I guess this is sort of reflective of also the Lakers, who are fucking all over the place when it comes to coaching. Maybe JJ will be the coach of the Los Angeles Sparks as well.
Nothing will surprise me. Nothing will surprise me there. I think Kurt Miller, he had his young star player, Cameron Brink, get this injury mid-season. He can't help that.
Lexi Brown out with illness as well. Another star player.
Franchise player Neko Ogwumike leaves in free agency. What is he supposed to do? What's our short king supposed to do?
What's the short king supposed to do? Come on.
His players love him. The statements that his players posted on social media were so thoughtful and heartfelt, and damn.
I really wonder if, there's going to be a move to another team. I could see Kurt Miller going to Chicago. Could he be going to the Bay Area for the Valkyries?
Prayers up
to these
for
coaches.
Latricia Trammell, who I hope Dallas don't get any ideas.
Let's pray to the Texas god, Bucky. Yeah.
Come on. Let her cook. This was another year where LT can't help that her players are getting injured. Something's in the water in Texas. We've talked about this. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I hope don't get any ideas, Dallas. That's all I'm saying.
And with, these coaches leaving, other players have also expressed that they will be exploring new opportunities in free agency, like Natasha Howard leaving the Wings, Lee Yaroo, who was a rookie for the Sparks this season, also expressing that she'll be looking for somewhere new next season. And Leisha Clarendon retiring from the league. Just one of the most groundbreaking players of the league announced that they will be retiring, and I just wish them the best in retirement because shout out, we love a former Liberty player and we love a former dog. Laisha Clarendon was a dog, always like,
yeah, ready to get
mad.
chippy. Yeah. Congrats on an amazing career. And I hope whatever is next for you is just as amazing. And I think it will be because what a cool person.
Absolutely. And let's also talk about two cool people who
The
won
coolest
some
people.
major WNBA awards. As if anyone didn't see this coming, A'ja Wilson, the unanimous MVP. We love you, A'ja.
We knew it was coming, but it still was just as sweet. And the fact that it was unanimous, I couldn't be happier for A'ja.
Could not be happier for A'ja, and just continue that freaking MVP level of play.
And I will be waiting to buy A'ja Wilson shoes, clothing line, whatever is out there for me. I will be purchasing. You know I love merch. I'm ready.
Cough up $60 and buy one of your candles. And also shout out, we love you, Dejanay Carrington, most improved player. We love Dejanay. Buckle the fuck up, baby. We are strapped in.
I think, Kelsey, we both at different points in the season predicted this. I love it. Correct. Good decision.
Good decision. Way to go, WNBA. You're doing it right. There will be more awards to come. 6th Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and then the All WNBA, Defensive Player of the Year, and the All WNBA teams and All Rookie team. Very exciting.
Well, Kelsey, I'm excited to see this next round of the playoffs. I'm scared to see this next round of the playoffs. I think this is the first time I've said I was scared today. So that feels big.
Yeah. It took us 50 minutes, but we finally got to the fears of Amelia.
Yeah. It usually happens like first minute of the pod. So this is.
But it's so exciting. We love the playoffs. We love the WNBA. We always say it. Everybody involved with it. I'm going to update this today just based on the vibe we have been having throughout this podcast. I think we need to adjust
take it away, Kelsey.
Our tagline. Everyone involved with the WNBA is a hero, except the Fever fans who are racist.
And the refs.
And the refs, obviously. Had to be said.
Bye.
Bye.
Had to be said. Bye.